Well, at least you know who's not in limited. But Ganondorf, really scary. Can cover landings really well with his dash attack. Big smashes that are kind of hard to avoid. Obviously, his off-stage game is kind of really the worst part about him. But everything else is not bad, man. They actually improved him a lot. His back air is safe on shield, so he can mix you up. He gets guaranteed reads off of his side B, which can lead into KOs for free. Yeah, I think they did a good job. Banjo. Banjo's, pretty solid. Has the invincible side B, which is insane. Not too many combos, good survivable weight at least. Annoying zoner, but... Oh, actually, I forgot a character for the lower tier. Yeah, I actually think Lucas is pretty limited too, in my opinion. After fighting a whole bunch recently, and, this character relies a lot on flashy gimmicks. But these tricks don't accomplish what people think that they accomplish. I think that Lucas players rely too much on the elements of surprise rather than good fundamental gameplay. Kind of in part of that, the character doesn't have like the tools to really hang with some of the best, in my opinion. So I don't know, I just think that Lucas has a really tough time against patient and smart players, and there's not a lot he can do about it to stop them. But anyway, back to the mid-tier category. Ridley. They just buffed him too, which makes him even more scary. So his recovery is good if you know how to work it. Has 5 angles. He has a command grab. He has, moves that will kill you very early. Like obviously a lot of his smash attacks kill very early. His nair is very troublesome. It's super disjointed, and I'm pretty sure it's safe on shield if he crosses up or spaces it right. So he has a lot of safe pressure and pokes like down tilt, forward tilt, that you cannot stop him from doing. He gets to just do them for free constantly, and if you try to jump, he can really punish landings very easily with his speed and his range. He can gimp people with fireballs, and it's kind of unavoidable depending on what character you are. Even if you're a good character, it can be really hard to avoid. Yeah, I think Pichu is also, they really did this character dirty after the nerfs. I'm not gonna say that it wasn't warranted, because Pichu is really strong, but now I think Pichu might be too weak. Never thought I'd be saying that actually, but possibly. It's like a really tough spot Pichu's in. Still insane combos, but just hurts himself way too much and is too light for the reward that Pichu gets. Ryu and Ken, I kind of put them at the same spot. I'll put Ken above Ryu because I think that Ken is a little bit better. Similar deal, these guys rack up so much damage and kill very, very early, but their neutral's kind of, limited. They have to it's kind of like Captain Falcon, right? They have to run up to you, get in your face, like Falcon and Terry. They have to run up to you, get in your face, and start mashing like A or up tilt until you drop shield or it pokes. And if that doesn't happen, then what do? Nothing. They still have to chase you. Off stage, they're pretty bad. Their recoveries kind of stink. They're good, and they're scary. They can kill you at 60, but if you run away from them the whole time, they can't really stop you from doing that. Also on this same tier, I'm going to put Villager. I think Villager is definitely underrated. I think that people having one air dodge can lead to bowling ball setups and a lot of, chopping the tree off stage and gimping people. Even still, kind of similar issues to Isabelle, just lack of range, no disjoints really. Pocket's super good in certain matchups, like against Wii Fit. Against K. Rool, you can just take his crown forever, and Diddy Kong, you can steal his banana forever. Also, in this tier, I will have to put both of the Angel Twins. Wait, where's regular Pit? Okay. Both the Angel Twins, just pretty solid all around. Just they have tools for every situation, even though the tools aren't particularly strong. Like the Reflector has a lot of end lag, right? Side B is a really good KO tool, but if it gets blocked, super punishable. They have multiple jumps, but their recovery has no hitbox. They have good rolls. So it's like they always have pros and cons, and they're just pretty straightforward. Whereas Lucina is also straightforward, but she gets so much more reward off of that straightforwardness, if that makes any sense. And these guys don't get as much reward for it. I think Zelda is also underrated, actually. I think people think she's really bad, but she's really good in the right hands, and you know, she's solid at building walls, and she has an invincible neutral B, which is super strong. Great at punishing people off stage, and she can recover from almost anywhere. Phantom can also protect her, so like off stage she's fine. Disadvantage, she kind of stinks. Her neutral's probably the strongest part about her, and her recovery, of course. But then like her advantage states, you know, it's not that great, and her combo game's alright. But yeah, I think she's better than people think. I would put her towards the top on this section. So I'm gonna just speed it up a little bit. I don't want to drag this video on, and I'll quickly just highlight more. I think Ness is very limited. People just don't know what they're doing against the character. If you guys have ever seen me fight Ness on my stream, I definitely body most of them unless it's super laggy. Yeah, Ness excels online a lot more than he does offline. I know there's exceptions to the rule, but even then, you know, a lot of Ness players get away with a lot because their opponents don't know how to punish them. Donkey Kong, limited recovery, big body, gets juggled, but has a lot of great tools. Has Force Spike, invincibility, or sorry, super armor on his neutral B and his up B. Strong tools overall. Wii Fit Trainer, deep breathing makes her insanely good. Probably bring her up another tier once she's in deep breathing mode. She's the only character that can heal herself consistently. Has a tough time approaching in some cases, and a lot of Wii Fit trainers put themselves on the edge, which leads them susceptible to getting spiked or camped, and I don't think that's the best way to play her, but that's just my personal opinion. I still think she's underrated though. Richter, limited recovery, very linear game plan. If Richter has to be forced to approach, that's when the playstyle breaks down. This character is not good at approaching, but they are very good at making people approach, so not many players can do that. Sonic. I think Sonic also goes towards the top in this section. Very underrated. A lot of people, you know, kind of give Sonic a lot of crap, but I think he's better than people realize. Marth as well. Obviously you need the precision to make Marth shine because of the tipper mechanic, but in any case, I still think that Marth is just solid overall. Marth can, you know, do well. I know MKLeo was talking a little bit about Marth. Corrin on the same front as these, just very honest, very straightforward. Doesn't get a whole lot of value, but obviously Lucina gets more, so I feel like Lucina just kind of power creeps these four characters in the game, if that makes sense. Just, she has to be less precise and she gets more reward every time for the most part, unless you're playing Marth perfectly, which is unrealistic in my opinion in this game. Bayonetta, nerfed to the ground since Smash 4, and I think maybe they pushed her a little bit too hard. I don't think they had to nerf her that hard to the ground, but you know, either way, it is what it is. Just has some limitations, but is obviously still a good character in my opinion. Can kill you and roof you off the top at crazy percents, and her combos are just elaborate. One of the best recoveries in the game still. Neutral, you just gotta work really hard at it to make it work. I also think Samus is on the same spectrum, limited in the neutral, and yeah, limited in the neutral, but if you know how to deal with Samus's tools, kind of like Ness, if you know how to deal with the character kind of falls apart right before your eyes. And if you guys are interested, I can start making anti-character guides. I already did one for Snake, but a lot of people didn't really watch it, so I didn't bother making more. But if you guys really want anti-character guides, let me know and I'd be happy to make some for you. No, I think Big Link is more limited than Toon Link. I think Toon Link is more nimble, more agile. Granted, Big Link is heavier and he can do Z-drop shenanigans. I still think Toon Link's mobility and small size, and just like the way that Toon Link combos off of his game plan is really nice and a little bit better than Big Link in many cases. Big Link is just Nair, up B out of shield, and fancy Z-drops and boomerangs, right? Toon Link is kind of more like a lot of bomb setups, and the bombs all lead into follow-ups and combos. fair kills at like 70, has Zair as a hook shot in neutral, which leads into a tech chase situation. People aren't going to agree with this one, but I think Chrom is definitely overrated. In my opinion, I think Chrom is quite overrated. One of the worst recoveries in the game if people just knew how to punish it. And this is something we discovered week 1 of the game, but a lot of people still don't know about that, so they let Chrom get away with a lot of Meta Knight. I would probably put him around here. Just solid overall. You know, decent tools, just lacking in the range department. Falco, I would probably put around here. I think Falco is pretty decent actually. A lot of combos, can be very aggressive, hit a lot of buttons. You know, obviously recovery is a thing, but still gets a lot of reward off of one hit, right? Like one up tilt, one grab leads into so much for Falco, and that's always scary on any character. You can also put Ike here, kind of in the Fire Emblem tier. If you notice, these characters all have swords and they're kind of grouped together, except for Chrom. I actually think Chrom is objectively worse than a lot of these. Piranha Plant, I think still very underrated. Not a lot of people use this character, and he has some stuff, obviously plays very defensively. Mewtwo I would put near the top as well. This character is good, you guys. Like, basically the characters that are like near here are encroaching on strong. So I'm gonna reorder some of these guys because my opinion is a little different than what I'm showing right now. Rosa. I actually think Rosa's better than people give her credit for. Just no one really uses her because she's hard to play. But yeah, I still think that Rosa is better than people give her credit for. She has a lot of desyncs, lunar landing stuff. Obviously her recovery is punishable. You get rid of Luma first and then you go ahead and fight her. And you know, there's definitely different ways to play the character, but I think that more people should try out Rosa because there's barely any of them. And yes, she's difficult, but I still think that she can be a force to be reckoned with. Before we wrap up, I'm just gonna start ordering these characters into the order I think that they belong to. Yeah, so this is what I think about the, you know, characters that have like, they're limited, but they're still good. Like, that's why I'm putting them in the middle. If people don't know the matchup, I think these characters just absolutely destroy their opponents. If their opponents know the matchup well, I think they kind of just lose. And that's my opinion on this tier right here. So they're not bad. If you notice, I actually said most of them are good. In this one, I kind of, you know, spoke less favorably about these characters. I still don't think that any character is objectively bad in this game. They're just less limited than the really, really good characters. So yeah, if you guys are interested in anti-character guides, basically how to fight against said character, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to make videos on that topic, and definitely stick around for part 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you for part 2 of this tier list series.